Hi, welcome to this video on how to create a function in Python. Now, to start off with, what we have on the screen is a very simple piece of code which will produce a counter. The variable on the first line prompts the user to enter a number to count to, and then we have a simple while loops which we looked at in a previous video, which will then do a comparison and increment a variable by 1 until it meets the number which has been inputted by the user. So to give you a quick demonstration of how that works, I'll just run this and it's going to ask me to type in a number to count to, so I'll put 10 and we can see there that it has counted to 10. Now this is all well and good, but one of the problems we have is that if we want to run this piece of code again, what we have to do is we have to close down the shell and we have to then run the whole program again, which is time consuming. Now what I could do within the code is I could type this code again, copy and paste it perhaps, but it is inefficient and it's time, and there's a much better way of doing it. Now within Python, what we have is the ability to produce something called a function. What a function does is it allows us to group together segments of code under a name. And that anytime we want to use that segment of code, we can simply call the function. And that will just jump back to where the segments of code has been written before and reuse it. So it's much more efficient, it's much more cost effective in terms of time saving and process power and all that kind of thing. So how we go about doing this is really straightforward. I just come to the top of my code and I type in def, which is short for define. I give it a name. I'm going to call it counter, followed by some brackets. All functions have brackets at the end of them. And then I put in my code on there. And what I need to do now is I just need to indent all this region. So see, I've got the inch margin running down there, and that shows that all of this belongs to this function called counter. So if I run this, ask me to save it. Yep, there we go. You'll see nothing happens. That doesn't mean it hasn't worked. I just haven't called the function yet. So what I need to do is I need to type in the word counter, followed by my brackets, and there we go. It starts the program. I can count to 10. I can type it again if I want. Counter and brackets, and I'll go to 20 this time. And I can do it again and just keep going as long as I want to. Okay, go to 5 this time. Oops, my bad. Counter, run that, and go to 5, and there we go.